John Carter slowly opened his eyes, feeling pain everywhere in his body. His head hurt badly, and he was confused. You remember clearly how the spaceship lost control and started falling towards a strange green planet called Zorax. Smoke filled his ship, and he barely managed to guide it away from a rocky mountain. He coughed and stood up, checking himself for injuries. Blood dripped from his forehead, and his arms felt sore, but luckily, nothing seemed broken. He took a deep breath and pushed open the damaged door of his spaceship. Outside, the air was thick and humid, carrying strange smells he had never experienced. Before Dot, as John stepped onto the soft ground, he looked around carefully. Massive trees with blue leaves surrounded him, their branches blocking most of the sunlight. Strange sounds echoed from deep within the forest. He knew immediately that he was not safe here. He pulled out his survival kit and checked the locator beacon, but it was broken beyond repair. "Looks like I'm stuck here," he whispered to himself. His only hope was finding a safe place to stay. While waiting for rescue, if anyone would ever come, John began walking slowly, holding a small device that scanned the area for danger. His heart pounded with every step. Suddenly, he heard a cry nearby, like someone was hurt. It sounded high-pitched and frightened. He paused for a moment, unsure if he should approach, but the cry came again, louder and desperate. He couldn't ignore it. He moved quickly towards the sound, pushing through thick bush. When he reached a small clearing, he stopped in shock. On the ground was a small alien creature, clearly young and terrified. It had light purple skin and big eyes filled with tears. Near it stood a much bigger creature, covered in scales, showing sharp teeth and snarling. John didn't think twice. He picked up a fallen branch and waved it at the large creature, shouting loudly. The monster turned, clearly surprised by John's sudden appearance, then growled angrily. Without warning, it lunged at him. John rolled to the side, barely escaping the sharp claws. His heart raced, but he refused to run away. The little alien needed help, and he couldn't leave it alone. He jumped up again and swung the branch hard, hitting the creature on its side. It roared in pain, but turned quickly, swiping at him again. Dodged and fought bravely, each move taking great effort because of his wounds from the crash. Finally, he managed to scare the creature away after a powerful hit to its head. The forest fell silent once again. Breathing heavily, John turned to the small alien. It looked up at him, eyes wide with amazement and gratitude. "Are you okay?" John asked gently, unsure if the creature could even understand him. Surprisingly, the little alien nodded slowly. It tried to stand up, but its legs were weak and trembling. John kneeled next to it carefully. "Here, let me help you," he said softly, holding out his hand. The alien looked at his hand, hesitated, then reached out and grabbed it gently. Its skin felt cool and smooth. Carefully, John helped the little creature stand. "Thank you," it whispered, in a small voice. The words sounded strange, but John understood clearly. "You're welcome," John smiled warmly, feeling relieved that the creature could talk. "What's your name?" "Elara," the young alien replied shyly, looking down at the ground. "Nice to meet you, Elara." "I'm John," he replied gently, still holding her hand to keep her steady. "Do you live nearby? Can I take you home?" Elara looked around nervously, her eyes filling with tears again. Home. Dangerous now. Creatures attacked. Family gone. John's heart sank hearing her sad words. He knew what it felt like to lose someone and be alone. "Then stay with me," he said kindly. "I'll protect you until it's safe." Elara looked up at him with wide eyes, clearly surprised by his kindness. Slowly, she nodded, trusting him completely. John carefully lifted Elara into his arms, noticing how light and fragile she felt. He walked carefully through the thick forest, looking for somewhere safe to rest. He finally found a small cave near a stream, hidden by large plants. "We can stay here," he told Elara softly, gently placing her. Down inside the cave, John built a small fire using the tools from his kit. The warmth seemed to comfort Elara, who sat close to him, still scared but calm now. John cleaned her wounds gently, wrapping them carefully. Elara watched him quietly, her eyes full of curiosity. "Why help me?" she asked quietly, her voice filled with wonder. "You're different, not my kind." John looked at her and smiled gently. "Because everyone deserves help when they're in trouble, no matter where they come from." She thought carefully about his words and nodded, clearly touched by his kindness. "Thank you, John," she whispered softly, resting her head against his shoulder dot as the sun set. Darkness filled the cave. John kept watch, determined to keep his promise to protect Elara. He knew they faced many dangers, but he felt strong knowing he had saved her. Together, they would survive whatever challenges awaited them on this strange new world. John woke up slowly, feeling stiff from the cold, hard cave floor. Sunlight peeked through small gaps in the plants at the entrance. He stretched, careful not to wake Elara, who slept soundly beside him. Her breathing was soft, and her small face looked peaceful now, free from fear. Quietly, John stood up and went outside the cave to check their surroundings. The forest was calm, filled with strange noises of creatures he had never seen. Birds with vibrant feathers flew above, singing unusual songs. The gentle stream nearby provided fresh water, flowing clearly over shiny stones. Feeling safer, John gathered fruit from nearby bushes, checking carefully to make sure they were safe to eat. They looked strange but sweet, and the scanner in his survival kit showed they weren't harmful. He returned to the cave, carrying the fruit and fresh water in a container. Elara was awake now, sitting up and watching him quietly. She smiled weakly. As he approached, "Good morning, Elara," John greeted warmly. "I brought food and water." She took the fruit slowly, examining it with wide eyes. Carefully, she bit into one, smiling happily as she tasted the sweetness. "Good," she said softly, clearly enjoying it. After eating, John decided they needed a safer place to stay. The cave was temporary, and he worried more dangerous creatures would find them soon. "Elara, we must find a safer place," he explained gently. "Do you know anywhere better?" She thought carefully, then nodded. "Village not far. Maybe safe now." John felt hopeful. "Show me the way. I'll protect you." They left the cave, moving slowly and quietly through the forest. Elara stayed close, pointing out hidden dangers John wouldn't notice. She moved gracefully, despite her injuries, showing determination and courage that amazed John. Hours passed, and finally, they saw small huts made from wood and leaves ahead. But as they approached, John saw signs of a recent fight. Broken buildings, damaged items scattered on the ground, and eerie silence filled the village. Elara's eyes filled with sadness. "Home," she whispered, her voice trembling. John placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "We'll check carefully. Stay close." They moved through the damaged village cautiously, stepping carefully around broken items. John's heart sank as he realized the place was empty. He saw no survivors, only signs of struggle and loss. Suddenly, they heard a quiet noise from behind one of the huts. John motioned Elara to stay still and moved quietly towards the sound, holding the branch firmly in his hand. He peered around carefully and saw a small alien child hiding, terrified. John dropped the branch quickly and kneeled. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe now." The small alien hesitated, then slowly stepped out, eyes wide with fear. Elara moved forward gently, speaking softly in their language. The child relaxed, running into Elara's arms, crying softly. John felt relief. "We can't stay here long. It's not safe." "Is there anywhere else we can go?" Elara nodded. "Sacred place. Deep forest. Safe there." "Then we'll go now," John decided firmly. They walked carefully again, now joined by the small child named Taylor. Elara carried her gently, comforting her softly. As they moved deeper into the forest, it became darker, with bigger trees blocking out more sunlight. Finally, they reached a beautiful hidden valley surrounded by tall cliffs. It looked untouched, with a clear stream and soft grass. Alie explained it was sacred, protected by ancient magic. "We'll be safe here," Alie said, placing Tela down gently. The child immediately felt better, exploring happily. John set up a basic shelter near the stream, using branches and leaves. They ate more fruit and drank fresh water, finally feeling safe again. As darkness fell, John made another small fire, keeping away the night's chill. Alie sat beside John, staring into the flames. "You brave. Help us so much," she whispered softly, looking at him with deep gratitude. John smiled gently, feeling warmth in his heart. "You help me too. We're stronger together." She nodded slowly, eyes filled with trust. "Never forget this. Never forget you," she promised quietly. John felt touched by her words, knowing their bond had grown strong quickly. As they sat quietly, listening to the peaceful sounds of the valley, John knew their journey was far from over. Challenges waited, but he felt ready to face anything with Alie by his side. Days passed quickly in the hidden valley, and John began feeling more at ease. He worked hard to improve their shelter, adding stronger branches and leaves to protect them from rain and wind. Alie helped him, learning quickly and offering clever ideas. Tela also became more confident, playing happily near the stream. John often wondered if rescue would ever come. He had sent a signal before the crash, but with his ship damaged, the chances felt small. Still, he remained hopeful. Until then, he focused on keeping them safe and strong. One morning, John and Alie walked through the valley, gathering more fruits and supplies. Tela stayed nearby, chasing small, harmless insects. Alie suddenly stopped and pointed to a strange plant with glowing flowers. "Good for healing," she explained softly. "Rare. Must gather." John nodded, carefully picking the flowers and placing them in a container. They moved deeper into the forest, discovering more useful plants along the way. Alie's knowledge amazed John, and he realized she was special in many ways. Suddenly, Tela screamed loudly from behind them. John and Alie turned quickly, fear filling their hearts. A large creature had appeared, standing near Tela, snarling and showing sharp teeth. It was bigger than the last creature John fought, and looked very dangerous. "Stay back," John whispered urgently to Alie, stepping forward. Bravely, he grabbed a strong branch lying nearby, holding it firmly. "Be careful," Alie whispered fearfully, holding her breath as John slowly approached the creature. The creature noticed John and turned its angry eyes towards him, growling loudly. John stayed calm, watching its every move carefully. It suddenly lunged, but John was ready this time, dodging skillfully and hitting the creature hard. The battle was fierce, each move filled with danger. John fought bravely, keeping the creature away from Alie and Tela. Alie watched nervously, holding Tela tightly, whispering soft words of comfort. Finally, John landed a powerful strike that made the creature stumble and roar painfully. It hesitated, looking at John with angry but fearful eyes, then finally backed away and disappeared into the thick forest. John dropped the branch, breathing heavily, feeling tired but relieved. He turned and quickly walked over to Alie and Tela, checking them closely. "Are you both okay?" he asked gently, concern clear in his voice. "Thanks to you," Alie replied softly, eyes wide with admiration. Tela hugged John tightly, feeling safe again. "We must be more careful," John decided firmly. "This valley is safe, but dangers still find us." That evening, as they sat around the small fire, Alie looked at John seriously. "You risk life for U.S. Why?" she asked gently, genuinely curious. John thought carefully before answering. "Because protecting others matters. We are stronger together." She smiled gently, deeply moved by his simple words. "Humans are different. You have kindness in heart." John chuckled softly. "Not all humans, but many." Days turned to weeks in John. Alie and Tela became a close family, caring deeply for each other. Alie shared more about her people and their ways. John taught her and Tella about Earth, making them laugh with funny stories and interesting facts. One afternoon, while exploring the edge of the valley, John noticed something unusual, a piece of metal half hidden in thick bush. Curious, he moved closer, pushing away leaves. His heart jumped when he realized it was part of a spaceship, not his own, but another from Earth. Excited, John called Alie over. They carefully examined the wreckage, searching for anything useful. He found tools and equipment that still worked. Most importantly, he found an intact beacon, a device that could send signals far into space. "This is our hope," John explained happily, showing Alie the beacon. "With this, someone might find us." Alie looked happy, but also a little sad. "Will humans take you away?" she asked softly. John paused, understanding her worry. "Maybe," he admitted gently. "But I won't leave without you and Tella. We're family now." Alie smiled softly, feeling comforted. Together, they activated the beacon, sending a clear signal into space, hoping someone would hear and come soon. Days passed slowly as they waited, continuing life as usual, but filled with hopeful excitement. Finally, one clear morning, a strange sound filled the air, unlike any John had heard in the forest. He quickly looked up, seeing a spaceship slowly approaching the valley. "They're here," John whispered, relief and joy filling his heart. He gently squeezed Alie's hand, smiling warmly. "Our rescue has arrived." Alie looked up, nervous yet hopeful, holding Tella close. John reassured her gently, promising everything would be okay. The spaceship landed carefully, and humans in special suits stepped out slowly, examining the area carefully. John waved, moving towards them, feeling overwhelming relief. "Are you John Carter?" asked one of the rescuers, surprised yet relieved. "Yes," John replied firmly. "I've been stranded here." The rescuers noticed Alie and Tella, their eyes wide with curiosity. "And them?" the rescuer asked carefully. "My friends," John explained simply, firmly. "They saved me too." "We must take them." The rescuers hesitated, looking unsure, but finally nodded. "We'll take you all." John turned to Alie and Tella, smiling warmly. "It's time to leave together," he promised softly. Alie nodded, trusting him completely. Together, they stepped onto the spaceship, ready to face whatever awaited them. Next, John knew their journey was far from over, but now they had hope, unity, and strength together. John, Alie, and Tella sat quietly inside the spaceship, watching as Zorax grew smaller in the distance. The rescuers moved around busily, checking systems and talking softly among themselves. John could sense that they were curious about the two aliens he had brought along, but didn't ask any questions immediately. "Are you okay?" John gently asked Alie, noticing she seemed nervous. She nodded slowly, trying to look brave. "I trust." "You?" she whispered softly, holding Tella closer. Tella stared wide-eyed around the spaceship, amazed and a little afraid of the strange surroundings. Soon, the spaceship captain approached them. Her name was Captain Laura Bennett, a kind-looking woman with calm eyes. "Welcome aboard," she greeted warmly. "We didn't expect survivors, especially with friends." "They saved me," John explained simply. "We saved each other." Captain Bennett smiled gently. "Then they're welcome. We'll make sure you're all comfortable until we reach our station." The journey back to the human space station took several days. During this time, John shared more about their experiences on Zorax, explaining everything carefully to Captain Bennett. Alie listened quietly, learning more about humans and their ways. On the third day, John noticed Alie sitting quietly, looking worried. "What's wrong?" he asked softly, sitting beside her. She sighed gently. "Afraid humans won't accept us. We're different." John took her hand gently, reassuring her. "Many humans understand kindness. They'll see your good heart." Finally, the spaceship docked at a large space station, bustling with humans moving quickly. Around, As they stepped out, many people stared curiously at Alara and Tila, whispering softly among themselves. John walked protectively beside them, determined to show they were friends. Inside the station, Captain Bennett introduced them to Commander Harris, a serious man with sharp eyes. He listened closely as John explained again about their journey and how important Alara and Tila had become to him. Commander Harris considered everything carefully before speaking. "We'll provide you all a place to stay, but we need to learn more about your friends and their world." John nodded, understanding. "Clearly, I'll help in any way I can." Days passed, and Alara and Tila slowly adjusted to life on the station. Tila quickly made friends with human children, playing and laughing happily. Alara, however, remained cautious, sensing not everyone was comfortable around her. John stayed close, guiding and supporting her every step of the way. One evening, John found Alara quietly sitting near a large window, looking sadly at the stars. "Missing home?" he asked gently, sitting next to her. She nodded softly. "Worry about my people. Want to help them." John understood deeply, knowing Alara's kindness and leadership. "Maybe one day we can return together, help your people rebuild." Alara looked at him hopefully. "You will come back with us?" John smiled warmly. "Of course, we're family now." Their quiet conversation was interrupted by a sudden announcement. Commander Harris called for John and Alara urgently. Quickly, they walked to his office, curious and a bit worried. "We received news from Zorax," Commander Harris explained seriously. "Other humans landed there after we rescued you. They've faced trouble. Alien tribes are fighting, unstable since your village was attacked." Alara listened closely, sadness filling her eyes. "Must help them," she said firmly. "I know my people. I can help." Commander Harris considered carefully, looking at John. "Would you both go back to help bring peace?" John nodded immediately. "Yes, we'll do it together." The next day, John, Alara, and a small team of human peacekeepers boarded a spaceship headed back to Zorax. Tila stayed behind safely at the station, promising to wait for their return. On the spaceship, Alara prepared herself, sharing more knowledge about her people's customs and traditions. John listened closely, determined to support her fully. He admired her bravery and wisdom deeply, realizing how much she had grown since their first meeting. Finally, the spaceship landed carefully. Back on Zorax, near a large gathering of alien leaders from different tribes. Many seemed surprised seeing humans again, especially John and Alara together. Alara stepped forward bravely, speaking strongly yet gently to the gathered leaders. She reminded them of their shared past, their common dreams of peace and unity. John stood by her side, ready to support her words and actions dotted first. Some leaders seemed doubtful and suspicious. They argued fiercely, unsure about trusting humans or even each other. But Alara remained calm, speaking patiently and clearly, her sincerity obvious to everyone. Slowly, her words began to reach their hearts, reminding them of happier times and lost dreams. Many began agreeing, willing to try again for peace. However, a few leaders refused angrily, storming away and threatening more conflict. Despite this, Alara felt hopeful. "We made progress," she told John later, relieved but aware more challenges waited ahead. "Change takes time." John agreed, proud of her strength. "We'll face this together, step by step." Together, they began working closely with both aliens and humans, creating plans to rebuild trust and friendship. Alara guided the efforts wisely, showing natural leadership and deep compassion. As they worked tirelessly, John noticed something important. Alara was becoming more than a friend. Her strength, kindness, and wisdom deeply touched his heart, creating a strong connection between them. He wondered if she felt the same way. One quiet evening, as they walked together beneath the glowing stars of Zorax, Alara paused and looked deeply into John's eyes. "Couldn't do this without you," she whispered softly. John smiled gently, heart full of warmth. "We support each other. That's our strength." She nodded happily, feeling safe and confident beside him. Together, they continued forward, ready to face whatever awaited them next, knowing their bond made everything possible. John and Alie continued working tirelessly to rebuild trust between humans and the different alien tribes. Each day was filled with meetings, planning, and helping rebuild damaged villages. Slowly but surely, they saw progress. More leaders began supporting peace, inspired by John and Alie's strong bond and genuine dedication. One afternoon, John and Alie visited a village deeply hurt by the earlier conflicts. The villagers looked uncertain and fearful, especially of humans. John knew gaining their trust would not be easy. He moved carefully, greeting everyone with warmth and respect. Alie spoke softly in their language, sharing their message of peace. And unity. An elderly alien named Mora stepped forward slowly, her eyes sharp yet tired from years of struggle. "Why should we trust humans again?" she asked seriously. John stepped forward gently, meeting her eyes respectfully. "Because we believe in unity. We have seen friendship grow between our people. Together we are stronger." Mora listened closely, her eyes searching his face carefully. "Words are easy. Actions matter more." "Then let us show you," Alie replied warmly. "Allow us to help rebuild your village and heal old wounds." Mora thought for a moment, then finally nodded. "We will try." Over the next days, John and Alie worked alongside villagers, helping rebuild homes and clear away damage. They showed kindness and patience, always willing to help, no matter how tired they became. Slowly, villagers warmed up to them, feeling genuine trust and appreciation. At night, the villagers gathered around a warm fire, sharing stories and laughter. Alie sat close to John, feeling deeply grateful for his strength and kindness. "We are making real progress," she whispered happily. John nodded, smiling warmly at her. Together, anything is possible. But their peaceful moments were interrupted by news from Commander Harris. A group of aliens, unhappy with the peace process, were planning an attack to stop the unity efforts. John and Alie knew they had to act fast to prevent more violence. Quickly, they gathered their allies, including Krell, who was now fully dedicated to peace. Together, they carefully planned how to protect vulnerable villages and peacefully stop the attackers. On the day of the expected attack, everyone was prepared. John and Alie stood firmly together, ready to protect their people. The attackers approached slowly, determined and angry, refusing to listen at first. Alie bravely stepped forward, pleading passionately for peace. "We must stop fighting. Our world needs unity and healing. Violence only creates more pain." The attackers hesitated, unsure. One young alien, driven by anger and fear, suddenly moved forward aggressively. John stepped in front of Alie, calmly holding his hands up in peace. "Please," he urged gently, "choose peace." The young alien paused, seeing John's honest eyes filled with sincerity and calm. Slowly, he lowered his weapon, understanding filling his eyes. Others began doing the same, moved by John's courage and Alie's heartfelt words. The crisis ended. Without violence, relief and happiness filled everyone's hearts as the attackers agreed to join the peace process. Unity grew stronger than ever, thanks to John and Alie's bravery and leadership. That evening, villagers and peacekeepers celebrated their victory, sharing joy and relief. John and Alie stood side by side, hearts full of hope and happiness. "We did it," Alie whispered softly, her voice filled with pride. "Together," John added warmly, smiling gently at her. In that quiet moment, John felt his heart connect deeply with Alie's, knowing their bond had grown stronger through trials and triumphs. He wondered again if she felt the same. "You have become everything to me," John admitted softly, looking deeply into her eyes. Alie smiled warmly, gently squeezing his hand. "You are my strength and hope, always." Under the bright stars of Zorax, surrounded by peace and unity they had built, John and Alie realized their hearts had found a true home, deeply connected forever. John and Alie continued their work, strengthening peace across Zorax. Villages began to thrive again, with friendships growing stronger between humans and aliens. Both felt joy seeing their hard work bring positive changes. One day, news arrived from the human space station. Commander Harris planned a visit to see the progress firsthand. John and Alie prepared carefully, excited to show him how far they had come. When Commander Harris arrived, he was amazed by the peaceful villages, the happy faces, and the unity everywhere. He greeted John warmly. "You have done incredible work. You should be proud." John smiled, looking at Alie. "We did it together." Commander Harris nodded respectfully at Alie. "Your leadership has been essential. Zorax is lucky to have you." Alie smiled softly, grateful for his words. Peace is possible when we trust each other. During Commander Harris's visit, he discussed future plans. Earth wanted a strong partnership with Zorax, sharing resources and knowledge to benefit both worlds. John and Alie agreed eagerly, knowing this would help everyone. However, not everyone was happy with these plans. A small group of aliens and humans secretly plotted against the unity. They believed keeping separate was better, fearful of losing their traditions. Late one evening, John and Alie walked peacefully near a forest, talking about future dreams. Suddenly they heard strange noises. John quickly looked around, feeling danger close by. Without warning, a group attacked from the shadows. "Run!" John shouted urgently to Alie, pushing her away from danger. But Alie refused to leave him, standing bravely by his side. "We face this together," she insisted firmly. John fought bravely, protecting Alie with every move. The attackers were fierce, determined to break their unity. But John and Alie refused to give in, defending each other and their dream of peace. Finally, help arrived. Krell and Commander Harris appear with loyal villagers and peacekeepers, quickly stopping the attackers. John and Alie were safe, though tired and shaken. "Who did this?" John asked, breathing heavily, looking sadly at the attackers, who were now quiet and defeated. Commander Harris stepped forward, his face serious. Fear and misunderstanding drove them. They believe unity takes away their identity. Alie stepped forward gently, speaking calmly to the attackers. "Unity doesn't erase who we are. It makes us stronger. We learn from each other. We grow together." Her words touched many of the attackers, making them understand clearly. Slowly, they nodded, feeling ashamed but hopeful. They apologized sincerely, promising to support peace from now on. After the attack, John and Alie realized their mission was far from over. They worked harder, teaching everyone about trust and respect, showing how unity made them stronger, not weaker. Months passed, and unity spread across Zorax like never before. The partnership with Earth grew strong, bringing prosperity and happiness to both worlds. Humans and aliens visited each other, learning and growing together. One beautiful evening, John and Alie stood together, watching the sunset paint the sky with bright colors. They felt deep peace, knowing their efforts made lasting changes. "Our dream became real," Alie whispered softly. John smiled gently, his heart filled with happiness. "Because we believed in each other." Alie turned to him, eyes shining warmly. "You gave me courage, hope. You taught me true unity." John took her hand softly, feeling deeply connected. "You gave me purpose and showed me real strength." They stood quietly, feeling their hearts connect strongly. Finally, John spoke softly, his voice filled with warmth and sincerity. "Alie, you mean everything to me. You've changed my life forever." She looked deeply into his eyes, feeling happiness and warmth fill her heart. "And you changed mine. Together, we will keep making a difference." Their bond became even stronger in that quiet moment, rooted deeply in trust, respect, and love. Zorax was their home, filled with peace and unity, a dream they built side by side. John and Alie knew challenges would always come, but together they felt ready. With their shared strength, kindness, and deep connection, they knew nothing could stop them. Their hearts beat as one, ready for whatever came next.